Good evening, and welcome back to another episode of the All Fall Back Podcast, episode 87. And we're back after a little bit of a break for the last 2 weeks, so there's plenty to get through tonight. And without further ado, we shall get straight into that. Obviously, joined as always by Chester 430. Good evening.
Good evening, Tank, and good to hear you back again, mate.
Yes, and it's a good evening to Shads.
Good evening, fellas. Good evening, everyone.
So, quite a bit to catch up on. A few bits to obviously recap. Obviously, we've got the pairs and the reserve pairs review to recap, as well as the Knockout Cup Grand Final first leg between the Spartans and the Storm. Then we have the all-important Milton Keynes Cowboys team change that they had recently, and then we shall look into the league reviews in week 14, which has the Panther versus Dragons, Cowboys versus Storm, and the Wolves versus Spartans. Then we shall have a look at how the league table looks after week 14. Then we shall have Shad's all-important Rider of the Week, and then we shall go into week 15's previews between the Dragons and the Spartans, Storms versus Wolves, and Panthers versus Cowboys. And then towards the end of the show, we shall have the BGP round 4 and leaderboard preview to recap what happened in that round. And then we shall move swiftly on to the round 5 draw that's coming up in just over a week's time. And then we shall then look at the SCS round 4 meeting and the leaderboard. And then we shall have the after that the SCS round 5 wildcard announcement and draw as well to finish off the show. So, with plenty to get through, let's get on with the show. Obviously, first up, a couple of weeks back we had the pairs, and on the Sunday we had on Sunday the 14th we had the pairs, and it was won on the night by the Ellesmere Port Panthers, and that obviously a good thing for myself and Chester, and that won quite easily in the end, but which was kind of a shock. I'll come to you first, Sheds. What was your thoughts on the meeting?
Yeah, quite a bit of a shock. I mean, they weren't the fancied. I mean, everyone was looking at the Spartans with Stefan and Ads, but credit to Mareki and Cappy. No last places, which was very important in these pairs meetings, and that 7-2 against the Spartans in Heat 3 was probably the crucial heat, which is the difference between them and the Spartans winning it. Disappointing night for the Storm. Amber Mouse did very little practice. Time constraints. He was busy that night. He couldn't really practice much. Hence why Ryan stuck me in for a couple of races. He just wasn't getting on with the track. It's a strange track, not one that people really know that well. I don't think it's been used very often. I think the ice spin race there a few seasons ago.
Yep.
Can't remember. Yeah, it was a long time ago. So not a track unless you practice it. Unless you practice it, a very specific line. If you don't practice it, you're not going to do much. Obviously, the Panthers have practiced, and a lot of the other teams look like they hadn't. But no, it was pretty much over 3 or 4 heats to go. So fair play for the Panthers. They deserve something this season. I think they've had a pretty abject season so far. So nice to get a little bit of silverware. Someone else winning something for a change. Apart from Spartans winning everything, it was nice to see a different team win it, and my old side from a couple of seasons back winning it. So I was quite happy for them.
Yeah, it was nice to share it around a bit. Chester, what was your thoughts on the meeting, aside from us winning it?
Yeah, well, I mean, fair play Panthers. Having those two, Mareki and Cappy, as a pair, I mean, they've been the star performers for this season for the boys. Again, as you said, Shad's Romford, very difficult track. Kind of when I was riding there, it was like a one line on the inside. But of course they modified a little bit now. And obviously Cappy and Mareki, they just got it spot on when it mattered. I had it down for the Spartans to be favourites. I mean, having, as you said, Stefan and Ads with DL as a reserve. I mean, that's a championship winning side in its own right. But I mean, as you said, that 7-2 that Panthers got against the Spartans, as you said, was the sort of the way forward. And yeah, it was great to see. I mean, at least Stefan got something there, got the track record in heat 11. But it wasn't enough, and Panthers came out victorious.
And obviously the top three for the meeting after Panthers was Spartans and it was Wolves. A little surprised that Wolves didn't finish higher with Unknown and Limo. Obviously they finished third, obviously based on countback with Storm. So yeah, I thought Unknown and Limo 4 Wolves would have done a little bit more, been a bit more closer. Because definitely got the ability to, but that's how the cookie crumbled. That. So with that, we moved on to the reserve pairs on the Tuesday the 16th, and obviously the meeting was won by the Spartans, and it was a bit more of a tighter meeting, and obviously I guess one of the talking points of this meeting was the inclusion of Bewitcher for the Wolves, as they only had one rider in that part. So there may be questions still around that, but obviously we were both in this meeting when we just earned that. You got a ride and that in the meeting. What did you think of the meeting and that? Obviously watching from the chat until that point.
Well, it was a very competitive match, and as you said, the big talking point was the inclusion of Bewitcher for the Wolves. But then at the same time, you think to yourself, well, the Dragons had Cam, and he's a top rider as well. But yeah, it was a good meeting. I had to wait for the last sort of round of races to get heat, and we managed to get heat advantage there, didn't we? Old Tank got old was it 6-3 advantage,
Yeah.
which sort of consolidated our position. I mean, it would have been nice to be a bit more higher up in the table. But again, the track was the difference maker. It was not much of a track that's been well used. And as I said, the lines have completely changed in that certain aspect. But yeah, fair play to the Spartans. I mean, 16 points from Le Sorcier, 14 points from Birchie. In fact, Birchie was unbeaten all night. So congratulations to him. And I still paid max for himself from 4 rides. And yeah, all in all, a great meeting for all. And yeah, congrats to the Spartans.
Obviously that race we had, I actually joked to KFC and they said I'd go and win it now, and I did.
Yeah, you did, didn't you?
Yeah. Shads, what was your thoughts
Yeah.
on the meeting?
Yeah, Birchie was actually the only rider over both meetings to be unbeaten by an opponent in the both meetings. So fair play. I mean, he's not been in the best of form in the league recently. I believe he's finding practice difficult because of his work and family and stuff. But to bang in 14 points and only from 4 rides, I think they were the Spartans were the only team not to have a last place. So it would have been interesting to see if Wolves would have won it, what the kickback would have been with Bewitcher riding. But in the end, it didn't matter because Spartans dominated this. It was they could even give Alan a ride in the last heat. They'd already won it by then. I'm pretty sure they wouldn't have given Alan a ride if they didn't need to. But no, fair play, Spartans. Another trophy to add to probably going to be three at least 3 this season. So yeah, they've been the team of the season so far.
So it was good to see, and that both pairs meeting actually getting different winners, and apart from Spartans appearing in second in the pairs and first in the uh, and that in the reserves, and that there was the other two places went to completely different teams. So it was a bit more wide open who actually finished in the top three. But yeah, so there we are. Panthers and Spartans win the respective pairs. And yeah, so we shall move on to the Knockout Cup final first leg, and obviously the Spartans and Storm went head to head in the first leg, and well, the Spartans have got the upper hand in this one with a win of 61-35, and it looks one-way traffic, but as we know, all that's happened this season already. Anything can happen. Obviously, you know, you wasn't in this meeting, Shaz, because obviously I came in to replace you in that. What was your thoughts after the meeting, looking back on it?
Oh, totally one-sided. Embarrassing from Storm. Only TJ and Method come away with any credit. Spartans again, very impressive. Not a lot more else I can say really. I mean, I wanted to ride, but as you probably know, I've got a few family issues at home with the wife being ill, so I really couldn't spare, sort of 2 hours or so in front of the computer that night. It was going to be difficult, so obviously I had to relinquish my place. I wanted to ride, I wasn't bottling it. I think you probably scored more points than I would have done at Peterborough. So yeah, it's I think this is pretty much over, isn't it? 20, 26 points behind. No, not happening, boys. But hey ho, well done to Spartans. Obviously, very very good team from top to bottom. They all scored really well, as you expect them to do at home. We were thoroughly unprepared. I don't think we practiced that much. And then Stephen, you said you were playing on a tablet, weren't you, or something?
Yeah, just a little tiny one.
It's it's not ideal, is it? Really?
No, I
Not
mean,
against this team.
I'm on a tinier screen, zoomed in, but still, and for the record, still near the screen. So
Can I just say, to your credit,
mm,
you beat Stefan again at Peterborough.
I know, yeah, I know. I'm 2 for 2 now.
That's three times you've been beaten at home, and two of them by you. So
Yeah.
congratulations to you. I know that. I know obviously means a lot to you.
Oh yes, he's
and,
definitely got it.
and I don't think Stefan's going to score another last place at home this season.
No, I made sure I was.
Yeah,
I put my hands up, and I'll admit I
that's
was gunning for him, and I made sure I got in his way as much as I could, and I was adamant he was getting that last place.
that is the only crumb of comfort we can take from this sorry performance.
But no, yeah, anything can happen, you know. Um, I still believe that until anything happens otherwise, anything can happen. Right, Chester, what do you think of the meeting?
Be nice.
Well, as you said, it was a very much a one-sided love affair. Spartans just ran riot, and Storm couldn't capitalize. As you said, TJ and Method gave you the only sort of reasonable sort of support. And yeah, it seemed to be over from that first 5-1 and E3 from DL and ads. And the Storm just couldn't capitalize. As you said, it's only the first leg. There's still the second leg still to come. Anything's possible. But like you said, I think Spartans have got it pretty much in the bag. Just like pack in for second and thirds. Just wind down the clock, and by heat 7 or 8, they can have it sewn up on the aggregate, and we're celebrating from the Panthers. But I say crazy things have happened. We'll soon see what happens, and take it from there.
They're just so relentless. especially at home. It's just, you can't see where you're going to get a heat advantage, and we got a couple, but it's just so difficult. They're just such a good team. You can't take it away from them. They're good from top to bottom. Whoever they put in, it's just and their availability this season has been tremendous. I don't think they've had to use many guests or rider replacement. I can't think of any time they've had to, which is always helpful when you want to win things. Keeping your side together, and it obviously gives riders an incentive to want to race when you're gonna win trophies. It's difficult to get riders to commit to anything when there's nothing at stake. So no, credit to them. They've obviously been the team of the season. I don't think they're quite at the level of the season 14 Phoenix side, which was
No.
a very, very good side. And maybe over a longer league season, maybe with more teams. I mean, obviously the league's been watered down somewhat from what it was, 10, 12 teams and so many good top riders. There's very few really, really good riders now. I mean, I don't know if Stefan would be getting a 10.6 average if there was, the likes of Van Helsing and Chrissy and Captain Pie and that lot around. But still a good side. No, don't take it away from them. I'm not downplaying what they've done so far this season, but I think having a weaker league and less riders definitely helped them.
We shall see what happens in the second leg. So moving on to the obviously important team change for the Cowboys that was announced just this past week, and it was that Big Slow Caney would be stepping down from the Cowboys team, and he has been replaced by Vechki, who's now made his return to the league for the remainder of the season to help fill the Cowboys' void. I think it's pretty much a good move, really, don't you think so, Chester?
Yeah, it's a good move. Of course, Fakey's a former number one when he compete with the Hackney Norse when they came over from Scandinavia to compete against the might of the British League. But Feshi has been sort of in the BGP as well, so he's still active on the game. Him and Dret Loxker as well. I think they're like the only two that are still left from the original Hackney side, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's a good move from the Cowboys. They've had a bit of a torrid season this year. Obviously, they haven't had the best of results. And then of course availability's been striking them, and it's been it's been a real shame for them to be this far down. But hopefully Fakey can come in, and hopefully the team can finish off with a bang for the rest of the season.
And Chaz, what do you think of the change?
I think they signed him last season for the last couple of meetings. I think it was. It's a shame for Big Slow Caney. I think his work schedule's changed and he's finding it really difficult to race. I think he's only ridden 1 or 2 meetings this season, so it's pretty inevitable that they had to sign someone, to get his minimum count in. I suppose he wasn't that great the other night, but I'm sure with a bit more practice he'll be banging in some good scores for the last sort of like three meetings that we've got left now.
Yeah, 3 more.
Yeah, good signing. It's I heard a little whisper he was thinking of quitting the GP series, then he changed his mind and said he wasn't. So obviously he's got a little bit of his mojo back. So it'd be good to see him back in the league next season, but I don't know if he's got the time anymore to commit to a full season. But yeah, good signing. It's a no-brainer really. So he obviously got a bit of a connection with the Cowboys and he stinted with them last season. Yeah, good signing if he gets his act together and scores some points. Maybe the Cowboys can get their long-awaited first win of the season.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting close to it now, so he might actually be the final jigsaw puzzle in their team to actually make that happen. We'll see. So we shall move on to the league reviews this past week, and the first one that took place was on Tuesday the 2nd of December, and it was between the Ellesmere Port Panthers and the Hastings Dragons. And Dragons won by 55 points to 41. Relatively close throughout the meeting. They just got the upper hand in the end. Shaz, what did you think on the meeting?
The benefits of having strong reserves as fruit for the Dragons again. Reese must be one of the signings of the season. And for most other teams, he probably would be up in the main body of the side after the average changes. But solid scores for all the Dragons side. The Panthers, though, once again struggled against decent opposition. But Mareki again is the only shining light in a pretty abject performance. I mean, he's really upped his game this season. I don't think he's been at number one before for his teams when he's ridden, and he's been really solid. One of the best riders of the season.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a great night for us. I mean, we went into it confidently, as we should do at home, and I think the racing was closer than our scorelines. Our individual scores suggest. Really, it could have been a different and that get a fish towards the end, but no, fair play to Dragons. You can't see any weaknesses in their obviously their team at all from top to bottom. Obviously Chester, obviously you was in it like I was. What did you think of the meeting?
Next question. Yeah, it was it was a case of a one-sided contest. Straight from Heat 2, that advantage that Reese and David No Fear got against me and you kind of set the tone, really. But yeah, great result. Cam and Reese definitely the showstoppers. Would have thought a better score from 101, only 8+2. He's definitely better than that, that's for certain. I mean, he got a 5-1 in 15 with score, which sort of killed the meeting for us. We've been struggling with Ellesmere all season. We can just never get it right, and then there goes Mareki and Cappy getting it spot on every time. So we've got a couple of meetings left to go to see how it all pans out, and yeah, but great win for the Dragons. Soft spot for me, really, being my former team from last season. But yeah, fair play for putting on a show.
Yeah, I can't take it away. A point to prove, and at the top of near the top of the league, and that they're doing all they can. So yeah, so in that meeting we also had the silver helmet, and it was also lost by Mareki in the last one. It was quite harsh, really, how it ended. The first two were very close. They tussled all 4 laps, and obviously in each one they were so close to each other until the final bend, and then it was a bit more easier. And the final race, the third one, the decider, that was very unfortunate. It was lap 2 that Meraki got pinged into the grass on the back straight, and yeah, it was Cam's there to actually just ride and just bring it home, which yeah, you don't want to lose it that way, but it has happened already this season. So but congratulations to Cam. He's now the silver helmet holder, and I think that's about the 4th or 5th different one this season, I think.
Yeah, your guess is as good as me, mate.
I think it's about the 4th because we've had Stefan, we've got Cam now, and then I can't.
Steph Cam, Mareki, and there was one other. Ryan.
And Ryan. Yeah.
Racer Ryan.
So yeah, no, we've done that. It's definitely been shared around this season. Thank you, Stefan. But yeah, no, it's we have a new silver helmet holder, and we shall see how Cam does when he goes to defend it in next week's fixtures, if he's available. Likelihood he will be. So, yeah. Right then, on to the second meeting of the week. It was the Cowboys versus the Storm, and this one was a very, very close meeting. Not There was not even an inch being given by either team, and that obviously played out in the scoreline. I mean, it was a joy to watch as being the referee for this one. Obviously, Ryan was back to form, getting over his knockout cup disappointment away at Peterborough. Banging in 14 plus 1 and pretty much backed up, obviously, by TJ. And then for the Cowboys, Bobby getting the points and Cam coming in as a last minute guest, which was said. And we obviously saw the signing of Fetchke for the first time, getting some laps in the league and getting his account for the Cowboys open for what's left of the season. Chester, what was your thoughts on the meeting?
It was very, very close, as you said, going into the last 3 races. Cowboys were only 4 points down going into it. So the all-important Heat 15 and 16 were the most important meetings. And they almost were able to get a 5-1 to make it a 48-point draw, I think it was. But at the end of the day, the Storm bounced back from that Spartans defeat and took a much-deserved win. The Cowboys are still looking for their first win of the season. I say great score for Bobby, 13 plus 1, back to some form of good form he's known to have. I don't know, so that was Bobby was at 1 with 12 points. That was Cam with 13 plus 1. Craig with 9. Obviously he's better than that. Fedgke just getting into it normally. 4 plus 2, scoring points. Only 1 last place. But yeah, it was a great win for the Storm, and they now take that momentum to the next match. And the Cowboys have got to do the same now. They've got to bounce back, but it's against us. So again, a tough match for the Cowboys against the Panthers. But we'll talk about that later on in the show.
Indeed, yeah. I said in the post-meeting, obviously, message that I felt Cowboys are very close to actually getting their first win, and it could easily have been this meeting, and that's how close it was. So it was unfortunate that Cowboys walked away empty-handed. Shads, obviously you was in the meeting, scoring 5 plus 2 on the night. How do you think the meeting went for yourself and the team overall?
Well, I thought this would be a tough one. And I fully expected us to struggle when I saw the Cowboys lineup. Some of our team had barely practiced before this, and it showed. To be honest, not a great first 4 races for me. And if Method had been scoring, I fully expected to be replaced in my final race. But as it happened, I managed to outgate both Bobby and Craig, and with Ryan protecting my rear end, it turned out to be a welcome 5-1. I mean, Ryan's the best team ride I've ever seen. You know, Stefan can do it, but Stefan's usually way out ahead, and he's not really gets a chance to team ride nowadays. But no, Ryan was superb in that race, and I think that's probably the race that won us the meeting,
I
which one I never expected to be in.
I think it was, to be fair, and I also think it was probably your points were the difference maker towards the win as well, as an additional. I think you would have probably won just about or got
Yeah,
points from it, but I think your points were crucial. Likewise, to be fair, I think even methods were.
yeah.
Between you, I think that was a difference maker.
It's a funny meeting. I mean, it was never more than not 2 points in it. I don't think at any stage. The league kept changing backwards and forwards. It was one of those really it was enjoyable. I mean, it's enjoyable to watch. I mean, if it wasn't enjoyable for me, because I was riding like a pig, for the first 4 races, it's only because I managed to make the gate in the last one that I managed to get any meaningful points. It was just one of those pretty horrible meetings where I was in scoring positions and I don't know, I just lost it. I don't know. There's been a lot going on the last couple of weeks here, boys. So my mind wasn't fully on it. But hey ho, Heppel wasn't available. Method didn't really race, but he had to race because of the meeting count. So Westy gave up his ticket for his Celtic match that night to race. So credit to him for doing that. So yeah, it was this one I really wanted to get out of the way, to be honest with you.
Well, and that it worked out well for the Storm in the end, and that narrowly winning, but a win's a win on the night, and the Cowboys will be and that very match up for winning their next one, which, as you said, just goes up against ourselves. So we'll have to see what we can do there. So going into the final meeting of the week, which was obviously on the same night as the Cowboys and Storm, which was on Wednesday, and that was the Wolverhampton Wolves against the Peterborough Spartans. And well, this one was a one-sided affair because the Spartans ran out 60-36 winners. It's harsh on the Wolves team because they were obviously up against uh, a depleted team. They didn't have their captain Bewitcher and no Limo on the night with rider replacement, and obviously no Hutty, obviously because he's obviously stepped down from the team. And then for the Spartans, they actually have used a guest, I think probably for the first time this season, in Potter. He came in and he scored a few points, but they did what they usually would do. Shads, what did you think of the meeting?
Terribly depleted again. Not surprised they got walloped. Like you said, no Lima or Bewitcher. Very difficult for them. I mean, the Spartans weren't going to let them off lightly, and they totally pulverised them, didn't they? Actually, they showed them some sympathy in the nominated heat by giving Potter and the Solskjaer the race instead of the top 2 scorers. But all still naming Hutty in the side, even though he quit the side over a month ago. So obviously they couldn't get any 3-point guests to cover for him. To me, the Spartans are still odds on to complete the league and cup double. I mean, they travel to Hastings next week, where there was ceremonially did some bowed in the KO Cup. I'm sure that won't happen again. Followed by a home meeting against us, Storm, and a trip to your team, Ellesmere Port. So I just think the Spartans are still sitting pretty. I think they'll still be quite happy with how things are going. Yeah, but sorry for the Wolves, not great. And they face us next week. They travel to Kings Lynn next week. So hopefully they can give us more of a meeting, because I don't think we're going to finish anything higher than third or lower than third. So we just want a bit of competition now. It's going to be a good one because we've got the Hastings Dragons and the Peterborough Spartans there in our last 2 meetings. So I'm not expecting a lot from that.
Yeah. Chester, what do you think of the meeting?
As you said, their tank are very much a one-sided love affair. Wolverhampton, it's going from bad to worse for them. Effectively riding with a 4-man team. I said they couldn't even find a 3-point guest for Hutty, which is a real shame. But the guys they had there, I mean, JC top scored 16 points. The only sort of real sort of dent in the Spartans' armour, producing those 16 points, so well done to him. Spartans, I mean, DL adds double figures. Haddington paid 9. Le Sorcier paid 10. Steph with a full house. I mean, there's no weak link in the Spartans at the moment. Even there's their Potter in for Birchie, and even he scored 7+1, which wasn't too bad. But like the Panthers, like the Wolves will be lucky to get this season over and done with. just to then come back refreshed, recharged, ready to go for next season. And yeah, just Spartans showing why they are the top team in the league and cup as well. So, I mean, I'm guessing as a Wolves person, you'd want to get this meet out of the way, done and dusted, quick as possible, knowing the team that the Spartans have got. I mean, the Spartans led from Heat 1 with a 4-2 from Steph and Hadlington, and that sort of set the tone, really. Only a 5-1 in Heat 16 from JC and Superdip gave them some sort of respectability. But again, it was only it was essentially a 4-man team, which is a real shame. But fair play to the Spartans for getting the win.
Indeed, that's brings us nicely on to looking at the league table now. The table looks like this. It's the Cowboys still propping up the league with 1 point, but could also have been different with a few more points. Then you've got Wolves in 5th place on 2 points. Then you've got the Ellesmere Port Panthers on 6 points in 4th. 3rd place is the Kings Lynn Storm on 17 points. Hastings Dragons are 2nd on 19 points, and in the lead with a bit of a gap, and everyone's favourite to win the league at this point is the Peterborough Spartans. Pretty much a table of 2 halves, I would say, in some respects, and yeah, on to the final 3 fixtures. So we shall see how the final table ends up in the coming weeks. So we come to the next part of the show, which is the Shad's Rider of the Week, and with that I shall hand over to Shad.
I think looking back, I think it's pretty unfair that we don't take the last 2 weeks into account for the for this particular award, much coveted Rider of the Week award. I know a lot of people are sitting there waiting to see if they've won it. I think Cam's on at me all the time. Heppel was on at me all the time about it, and then I forwarded it to them, and thankfully they've shut up a bit now. But I'm looking at 2 drop points in the pairs, 16 points from 6 rides in the GP, making the semi-final and staying in touch with Stefan at the top of the table, and 17 points from 6 rides for the Panthers against the Spartans in a losing effort. My rider of the week, the rider of the last 3 weeks, to be honest, is Mareki.
We now go into looking at the league previews for week 15 of the league, and the first meeting up is on Tuesday the 9th of December at 8 o'clock, and it's the Hastings Dragons against the Peterborough Spartans, the top 2 in the league. So this looks like it could be quite an interesting tussle to see how this plays out. I'll come to you first, Shad. What's your thoughts on this meeting?
Well, this is obviously going to be really, really crucial for the Dragons if they want to mount any title challenge. If you go by the KO Cup meeting early in the season, it should be an easy Dragons win, but I'm pretty sure the Spartans have learned from their visit here earlier. I mean, Ed's obviously he guested for us when we went here in the league, and I think he scored 4 points for the Spartans in the cup, and I think he was our second top scorer when we went there. So I'm sure he's pretty learned how to ride this track now. I can't really call it. It depends on availability. I'm pretty sure that the Spartans are going to have all their side back. I mean, they've been really good this season. I think the only guest they used was last week? Was it last week when they had Potter in for Birchie? But yeah, I'm pretty sure they're going to give this a proper go this time, and I think it'll be really close. I can still see the Dragons maybe edging it, but I don't think it's going to be anything like it was in the earlier meeting in the KO Cup. Nowhere near it.
Yeah. Chester, what do you think?
This is going to be a good match, I think. As you said, the top two in the league. But obviously, with the visiting team being the Spartans for this one, it's going to be very much a case of who can adapt to the track quick enough. Because, of course, we all know the controversy behind Hastings, the track with essentially 4 straights. Of course, it's sponsored by Walker Square Crisps. But yeah, this one can go either way. If the Spartans are at full strength, they could put on a challenge. And again, it's all down to who's available for the Dragons. I'm gonna go on a limb here and say a very narrow away win for the Spartans to maintain an unbeaten run. But it's not going to be easy. The Dragons are going to be hunting them down and give them their first loss of the league campaign, which will give the table a very much an interesting look going into the last few minutes of the season.
I think it's very, very unfortunate that this won't be streamed because this would be a great meeting to stream. But obviously, the two guys that stream meetings this season are both riding that night. So Wolfie and Westy Boy. So it's very unlikely this will be streamed, which is a shame because this would be an ideal meeting to be streamed. It should be a really good. It should be a cracker.
Yeah. My personal feeling is I think I would love to see Dragons lose at home, because it's coming, and if anyone's going to do it, it will be the Spartans. I think now they've got not see they got the Grand Prix and the Star Championship when they last went there, so they've not got that to contend with now. So they got full focus on this meeting, so they could beat them, but I think just to make things interesting, I think in the league table wise, I think Dragons possibly come out on top, but I am literally clutching at straws there. Yeah, it's too hard to decide which way it's going to go, but we shall see. Come
Ideally, you'd want Hastings to grab all 3 points, Dragons to grab all 3 points to make it interesting. Because then we've got a we're facing both of these teams the last 2 meetings, so we could have a say in the title. If Spartans get anything from this, even a point, I think it's near enough over.
yeah, I think Spartans win, like you say, with any points. It is pretty much a foregone conclusion at that point. It would need a miracle, but I don't think that's going to happen. But you know, we shall see. So we move on to the second meeting on that Tuesday, and this one starts at 8:30, and it's between the King's Lynn Storm and the Wolverhampton Wolves. And obviously they've not got a strong team in the minute of Wolves, and they've been struggling. But it'll be a test for them, but they could probably do quite well at King's Lynn. But we shall wait to see how that goes. Chester, what do you think of the meeting?
It's going to be well, I'd say Storm look to be the favourites for this one. It all depends on what happens with the Wolverhampton Wolves, with their availability. JC is going to be on form with his last score. He'll be looking to continue that. It's just going to be down to what happens at the lower end, how they get that all sorted out. I still think that Storm will persevere in this one. I mean, having like Race Orion, like the top team rider in STS, it will definitely take some stopping. And it just all depends who's available for both teams, really. I have to say, definitely a home win, definitely.
Yeah, I'd go that way based on form and other factors. Chad's obviously and that is your team and that. What do you think about the meeting? Are you confident, or or
I, I'd say I was confident. Obviously, I don't know. We don't know who we're up against yet. If we race against the team that they put out the other night, I think we'll batter them. But I expect Limo to be back. Gracie will go well around here. That seems like his sort of track. Dip's been really off this season, so he needs a good meeting. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion, but I expect us to win. I'm not sure if we've got everyone available. I'm pretty sure we've got everyone available, so someone's going to have to miss out. Yeah, I'll go for. I'll be disappointed if we didn't win this one. But I don't think it's going to be a landslide. I don't think we've actually battered anyone really this year. At home, it's quite a fair track. It's a racing track. It's not a trip track. It's not a one liner. It's a fair racing track, which is why we picked it, because it's fun. We weren't going for anything tricky, that none of us would enjoy riding really. So who's got the best? Who's the best gators on the night? It's going to be a great one. I'm looking forward to it.
yeah, it should be a good meeting. I think.
I'll just say for one thing,
Yeah.
one more thing. Sorry, we've really got nothing to ride for, because I think third place is pretty much cemented. But Wolves don't want to finish bottom. There's only 1 point between them and the Cowboys, so they're going to have a bit more, probably a bit more motivation than us. If they catch us on a bad night where we're a bit complacent, don't rule out Wolves getting something.
Yeah, I can see it in that. Obviously, I don't think we've seen yet the best of Unknown. He's got obviously better as the weeks have gone on. Demo has shown what he can do, but has been in and out of the team. And I think you get Unknown, Limo, JC, and Bewitcher if they're all available. I think that make it very interesting. Just them four, if they can be on form and bang the points in. So yeah, it's all debatable, but I can see a home win, but I'm not discrediting Wolves in any way. I think there is a threat to be up there, depending on how they line up with their availability. And then we move on to the last meeting of the week, and that is the meeting on Wednesday, the 10th of December at 8:30, and that's the Ellesmere Port Panthers against the Milton Keynes Cowboys. And this one for Panthers is going to be a chance to be a team home and away. I think maybe the first time this season. So it will be an interesting one. Shads, what do you think this meeting will be? How will it play out?
I mean, I'd like to see a Cowboys win at least one meeting this season. I'm sure you guys won't want it to be this one. But if they rode with the spirit they rode the other night against us, I think they could give you boys a bit of a tough night. Obviously, Marecki's your star man, but you need the likes of Capesy, Tintin if he rides, to Chester yourself to step up really. You can't just leave it all to Marecki. And Cappy, obviously Cappy's been banging in some points, but Marecki's been the star man without any doubt. I think this is going to be very, very close. You can't call it really. Like I said, I'd like to see the Cowboys get a win. Obviously, you don't. They won't want to finish bottom. They won't want to finish bottom, and they've got a pretty tricky run in. I mean, the Dragons the week after, and then they're home to the Wolves, which could be the wooden spoon decider, depending how things go in the following weeks. Too close to call. I'll have to wait until the Skyrider puts up his predictions to decide what I'm going to put for this.
Yeah, and after seeing how Cowboys rode last week, it's I knew it would come, and it was coming, so it's going to be a tough one. So we're going to have to be on our game. Chester, what do you think how the meeting's going to play out for?
It's as you said, it's going to be very, very close. Both teams looking for a win, especially the Cowboys now with their new look squad. They want to get that first win on the board. And Shaz, we've been trying to keep up with Mareki all season around Ellesmere. It's just he does something that that we just can't sort of get our heads around. He makes it look so easy.
It's just
But
so hard to pass, isn't he?
yeah, it is. I mean, like as I said before, we've struggled with the track all season, but Cappy and Mareki have just been flying the flag for us. So I mean, we'll have to see how it goes really on that night. I mean, both teams looking quite even on paper. I mean, I'd like to see the Panthers win. I'd like to see the Cowboys win because, of course, we want to see the Cowboys get at least a victory, so we'll have at least one victory this season. But I mean, sit on the fence and say a draw, so both teams get a point. But then it's not a win, is it? If it's a draw, so. But so we'll have to see what happens on Wednesday and see what happens in the after the meeting.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting meeting. So we move on to the BGP round 4 that was held at Gislaved. To recap what happened in that meeting, and it was won by Stefan on the night, back to his usual form and scoring 16 points, just beating Cam, who finished second, and TJ Griffiths finishing third, with Ads unfortunately finishing last and didn't finish the race. Obviously we had the track record, which was got by Cappy in Heat 14. So it was pretty an entertaining meeting, pretty close. Shads, what did you think?
I think Mareki was really unlucky in this going through the card in his qualifying heats and finishing third in the semi-final. Could have been top of the table now, but no, I don't know how Stefan does it. He didn't. He wasn't that brilliant. It wasn't that brilliant. I didn't think he had his only race win came in his first race win came in his last qualifying race, and then he managed to scrape into the semi-final and win the final. So yeah, but maybe not the points haul he was looking for. But yeah, still what a competition though. It's so close this year. I think Speedy's probably out of it. But I think the top three are still gunning for that title. It's really exciting, really interesting.
I do have to say that probably Stefan will say, and you probably won't mind me mentioning this. I asked him to referee this meeting because I was unavailable, and he did jokingly say that if he loses the title as a result of refereeing this one, and that he was going to hold me accountable for it, and I was to blame for it. So we shall see how it happens, but but I think that probably contributed to obviously his scores of not getting a win till his final race.
Yeah.
So, but still, he got the points necessary to get to the same final and the final, and it still keeps it interesting. Chester, what do you think about the meeting?
It was very entertaining. I said, I've got to give my hats off to Mareki, going through the card as you said, and just missing out on the semi-final. And again, Ads looks good. Cam again, top three going into the next round. And of course, an unknown as well coming in, getting a heat win in his fourth race, scoring 9, getting into the semi-finals. But again, what can you do with Steph? I mean, honestly, like he just finds something when no one else can find anything. But but I think that's the least amount of wins I've actually seen him. I've actually seen him win in a full meeting. Like only 2 race wins out of 7 rides. It's somewhat of a surprise. But again, it makes the table looking very, very interesting. And looking forward to the draw in a few moments' time. So yeah, well done to the guys that competed. Steph, Cam, TJ getting the podium. Unfortunately, Ads missed out. But yeah, great win for Steph, maintaining his dominance in this championship.
Indeed, yes. It's definitely made it an interesting one as we look at the table as it stands right now, and it couldn't be any closer at the top after round 4. Normally, in past seasons, Stefan's obviously got a bit of a lead at this point, and he doesn't need to ride, but he's having to look over his shoulder, and he's in first place on 60 points, and just behind him, joint second place is Mareki and Cam on 57, and then they're followed thereafter by Speedy on 49, Craig on 36, Beshki's on 34, Cappy's on 33, and Dreadlocker's on 30, rounding up the top 8. And yes, it's pretty much a tight one for various positions, especially the top 3. And I mean, the top 8 isn't out of the question as things stand, really, because a slip up from Feshki, Cappy, and Dreadlocker can literally get Ryan, Squall, Adson, Badger into this top 8 easily. So it's definitely going to be an interesting one for the final 3 rounds.
Can anyone explain to me what the hell has happened to Stephen 101? 22 points from 4 meetings. I mean, he hasn't missed a meeting this season in this, and he's only got 22 points.
Yeah.
What the hell is going on there? I mean, he's scoring consistently in the league. It's just that something's happened to him this season in this competition. He's usually like top 3, 4, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's usually up there. But 22 points, 3 points only from the last round. I mean, that's very poor. Very poor.
I think from looking at it from a referee point of view, he has been unlucky in quite a few races, I will say that. He's been in good positions, I think, on 2 or 3 occasions this season. He's been in first place, second place, gaining, and he somehow ended up at the back. Unlucky, sheer unlucky to get them contacts that's actually obviously got him past, and he's lost out as a result. I think it was round 3 was one of them, and I thought he was going for the win, and the next thing I know, he was like 3rd or last. And he's had it tough this season in the Grand Prix.
Yeah.
We know he can do it. He's shown he can do it, but
Yeah, he's a class rider. We all know that.
yeah,
We all know that.
But I think
It's
he's
just
struggling.
it just seems very, very, very odd looking at those scores. I mean, he had 1 decent round and 3 absolutely awful rounds. I mean, very, very strange. I don't know what's going on there.
But you never know. He might find, and that we might see him pick up a couple more points in the last 3 rounds, back to his usual. Anything can happen. We shall see. Right, so we shall move on to the round 5 draw, which is being held at Forza, and with that, I shall hand over to Chester to take us through.
Thank you, Tank. Yes, of course, the next round of the BGP, as Tank said, over in Gorzów in Poland. So without any further ado, we're going to get the draw underway. So, first up out of the hat, as the wheel spins, it will bring up. That'll be Fakey, currently in 6th place, 34 points, a 12-point score, round 4. Let's see what he can do in round 5. Good draw at number 1 has Fakey. We're joined in heat number 1 by TJ Griffiths, currently down in 14th place, only a 12-point score, putting him on 20 points with 2 DNRs in round 2 and 3. So coming up next out of the hat, it will be our very own Tank, who's currently down in 16th place. 3 out of the 4 rounds race so far, going in on 9 points with a 4-point score, his highest in round 1. Completing the opening lineup, it will be Badger Racing, just outside the top 8 on 29 points, 1 point behind Dret Lotka. His 12-point score in round 3, his best score of the season so far. Moving on to number 5, and that will see one of our second place riders, Mareki, 57 points, a 16-point haul in round 4, his second highest score of the season. Only 18 points in round 2 was Mareki's highest score. Goes in at number 5, joined at number 6 by the other runner-up in this meeting, Cam, also on 57 points. A 16-point haul in round 2, his best score. 4 double-figure scores in each of the rounds so far. 57 points for Cam of the Dragons. At number 7, it will be another class rider, Ads MFT. Currently in 10th place with 28 points. A 12-point score round 2, his best score of the season so far. We're looking for better things in Gorzhov on Sunday. Looking on to number 8, and we have Speedy. Now, Speedy currently in 4th place, 49 points. 4 double-figure scores, 14 points, his best score in round 3. So we're looking for a better result in this coming round 5. On to number 9, and that will be Stefan, currently on top on 60 points. 4 double-figure scores, 18, his best in the opening round in round 1. He's dipped a bit there, only 12 points scored in round 3. Moving on to rider number 10, and that'll be the man holding 8th place in the standings so far, Dret Lotka, currently on 30 points, 1 ahead of Badger, but 3 behind Cappy. Only 7 points scored in his last meeting, 14 points his best score in round number 1. Let's move on now to rider number 11, and that will be the already mentioned Stephen 101, currently down in 13th place, 22 points, 11 points his best score in round 2. But he's been disappointed with only 3, 5, and 3, his other 3 scores before the round 5 meeting. Moving on to number 12, and that will be Scotty B. Now, Scotty B currently down in 15th place on 13 points, a 7-point score in round 4, his highest so far this season. 4 riders still to go, and 4 very big names. First of all, going up, riding at number 13, it will be Cappy, currently in 7th place, 33 points. A 10-point score, his best so far from round 1. But since then, he scored 9, 7, and 7 respectively. Hoping better things from the Panther coming up on Sunday week. Moving on to ride number 14, and that will be the former silver helmet holder, Racer Ryan. Racer Ryan currently down in 12th place on 24 points. Missed 2 rounds of the season, round 2 and round 4. 17, his best score in round number 3. Move on to round number 15, and that will be the Dragons captain, Squall. Now, Squall is currently in 11th place, joint on 24 points with Racer Ryan. A 7-point scores for Squall, his best score so far. And running atop the number 16, it will be Craig, currently in 5th place on 36 points, 3 double-figure scores, 1 single-point score, 12 points. His best score in round 1, and that will be the BSS Sliders Grand Prix Series lineup from Gorzhov.
Thank you very much, Chester. So that's the lineup that will take place next week on Sunday the 14th for the BGP. We shall do a more in-depth preview of that meeting on next week's show. Now we go and look back at round 4 for the SCS, and this meeting was won by Bobby with a 18-point haul in this meeting, only dropping 3 points in his third ride, coming last. Second place was Rico, and third place was Reese 02. It was plenty of double figure scores, and everyone was scoring big points to get to the semi-finals. And it makes it interesting. Obviously, Shaz, she was made it to the semi-final, and unfortunately was unlucky in that one. I'll come to you first, Shads. Obviously, what was your thoughts on the meeting? Obviously, semi-final didn't go your way.
No, it didn't. No, it wasn't a great night for me. Started off okay, then got progressively worse as the night went on. But I'm looking at. I think the title's out of my reach now because Skyrider, Rico, very consistent at the moment, and I think Hadlington's on a charge. He seems to have found a bit of form after a couple of poor rounds by his standards. I think he's found his mojo again. I don't think he's got enough to get into to win it, but I think top three for him is definitely doable. Definitely doable. But Skyrider seems to enjoy this competition. Rico's come on really well this season. I mean, but for that first round, he'd be leading this. That was an inexplicable for 5 points there. I don't know how he managed to do that. Then score double figures in the next three. But no, it's really exciting. Both competitions, the GP and this, really good. You've got at least three riders in each looking to win it. I think qualification's going to be important here. There's still a lot of, still two or three that looking to qualify for the GP next year, even if they don't win this competition.
Can I just make a little notice here?
Please
Bobby has only got 12 points on the table, but he scored 18 in this meeting. So how's he only got 12?
So obviously, Jesse, you were brought into this meeting as a last-minute replacement. You got 2 points. So, did you enjoy the meeting? And that was it a good experience to mix it in an individual?
This goes to show when you don't practice that you struggle really badly. But I had
unless your name's Tank.
I had no desire to race in this meeting at all. I've said to Hads 1,000 times. I mean, he's asked me to be wildcard twice, and I've turned them both down because I said to him that I'd rather focus on league action rather than an individual format. Maybe next year go in for it. I don't know, but it was just a last minute thing. I wasn't doing anything, so I thought, why not just go for it? And yeah, I only scored 2 points when I was a non-rider and another disconnected. So a bit disappointing. But yeah, the experience was good. Don't get me wrong, there's some great lads in there. They all welcomed me with open arms. Well, 15 of them did. Well, sorry, 14 of them did.
Who was the other one? Who was the one? Who was it?
Well, say Bewitch and No scored. Well, Bewitch and No scored. So he wasn't in a meeting, and then the other one was the other guy, the row number 2.
Yeah.
We won't go into
your ex-mate.
We won't go into any details about that. Yeah.
No,
Anyways.
okay.
But yeah, it was a good meeting. I know it was like last minute. Maybe in the future I might do a full season. I don't know, but that was just a case of going in, having fun, and just try not to embarrass myself. But I kind of did because I only scored 2 points.
Cool. You had to be there to score the points, and that's how you've got to look at it positively.
Yeah.
Yep. So that was obviously round 4. We now look at the SCS standings, and the top 3 is very close, just like in the BGP. Rito 2 leads on 54 points, with Skyrider on 52 points. Rico has 51 points, and that's your top 3 with only a couple of points between him, so it can go either way. Then we've got Shads in 4th on 46 points, so can still gate crash the top 3, very much so with 3 rounds to go. Askan Hats, he's obviously on 43 points, so he can do the same, and he's come into some form, as Shav said. Then we got Le Sorcier on 6 points, in 6th place on 42 points. Bewitcher on 39 points. JC on 31. David No Fear on 27. Hobnob on 26 points, and Westy Boy rounding out the top 11 on 22. So everyone's, there or thereabouts for the top 3 to go up to the BGPs and the qualification between 4th and 11th. Obviously, Cape C is now knocking on the door for getting into them qualifications for next season, 1 point behind Westy. And Bobby, having missed 3 rounds, finds himself just a couple of points outside the top 11, which is kind of balmy to think about. So yeah, it's still to play for, and that for top 3 or top 11, it's going to be an interesting last 3 rounds. So we shall see how that goes. We now move on to round 5 for the SCS, and it's the draws. But first we have the wildcard announcement, and Chester, you are going to bring us the announcement and the draw.
Yes, the SCS round 5. The wild card is a welcome return for Neil R94. He's coming in for his wild card slot in the SCS round. So without any further ado, let's crack on with the draw. So, the wheels at the ready. Let's get cracking. So, starting off, number 1, it will be yourself, Shads. Currently on 46 points, 4th place. 3 double-figure scores, 16 points, his best score in round number 1.
Was I number 1 last time?
Yeah,
I think so.
God.
You'll be joined in Heat 1 by Westy Boy, currently in 11th place on 22 points. A DNR in the last round, round 4. 11 points his best score in round number 2. Moving on to rider number 3, and that will be Hobnob, currently in 10th place on 26 points. 10 points his best score in the last round to Gizlaved. And completing heat number 1, it will be Ben Thompson, currently down in 16th place on 15 points. A 5-point score in round 4, his best score so far this season. Moving on to ride number 5, and that will feature Le Sorcier, currently in 6th place, 42 points. 13 points his best score from round number 2. 3 double-figure scores and a 7-point score in round 4 in Gizlaved. Moving on to ride number 6, and that will be Heppel. Heppel currently down in 14th place on 18 points. A DNR in round 4. 9 points his best result in round number 3. Rider number 7 is going to be the man from up north, Alan McNally. Currently down in 15th place, 16 points. 9 points was his best score in round number 1, with a 0, a 7, and a DNR in his following 3 rounds. Moving on to ride number 8, and that will be the Panthers captain, Cape C. Currently outside the top 11 on 21 points. Currently in 12th. A 8-point score was his best result this season at Gizlaved. Next, moving on to Rico, currently in 3rd place, 51 points, 1 point off of 2nd. 16 points his best score in round number 2. 15 scored in round 4. Next up, out of the hat, number 10 is David No Fear. David No Fear is currently in 9th place on 27 points. 11 points his best score in round 4. A DNR in round 3. hindering his chances to make any impressions into the top 3. Meanwhile, moving on to number 11, that'll be the wild card, Neil R94. Not so much known as Neil R, but he's coming back in to the SCS round for his wild card slot, looking for a big result on Sunday week. Moving on to ride number 12, and that will be Bobby winning the last round and jumping from 20th to 13th, currently on 18 points, highest score so far of his only round he's competed in at Gislaved. Next up, we have the current runner-up, Skyrider, currently 52 points in second place, 16 points his highest score in round number 3, 4 double-figure scores, and certainly on course to spoil a few parties. Meanwhile, coming up next at number 14, it will be a man certainly on form, is JC, currently on 31 points in 8th place, 15 points his best score from the opening round of the SCS. 2 more to go, and we have currently the current leader of the SCS, Reese 02, 54 points, 15 points his best score in round number 3, 13 points scored at Gislaved, the same as Skyrider, and that just leaves Hadlington 83 currently down in 5th place on 43 points, 14 points his best score at Gislaved in the last round of the SCS. Hoping for a bit more of an entertaining round in Gorzów. And that completes the BGP and SCS round 5 draws next Sunday.
Thank you very much. So yeah, so there's the draws, and we shall go into the SCS, like the BGP, in more depth in next week's show. At this point, we are pretty much coming to the end of the show. Obviously, we've got the usual links. You want to go through them, Chester?
Yes, of course I will, Tank. So if you like what you've been listening to and you want to get involved with all things Speedway Sliders related, there's all your links to go to. The website, forum, Discord, the YouTube where the podcast gets posted on Saturday nights, Facebook, and of course Twitter that gets updated regularly with our superb media team. So any questions or queries you have, follow on those links, and I'm sure one of our lovely members will guide you in the right direction.
Thank you very much. And that is pretty much the end of the show. Obviously, a quick look at next week's show. We have lined up the league action between the Dragons versus Spartans, the Storm versus Wolves, and the Panthers versus Cowboys. Then we shall have Shad's Ride of the Week, and potentially on this day with Shad as well. And then we shall preview the BGP round 5 and the SCS round 5 as well at Gorzów. And then it's the big one. It's the second leg of the Knockout Grand Final between the Storm and the Spartans. And see how that one plays out, even though Spartans have a lead. And that, as we said before, anything can happen. So, with that being said, we've now come to the end of the marathon episode to catch up on. It's been quite an exhausting one, but we got there in the end. And back to normality uploading from next week. So, with that being said, I'd like to say a good night to Chester. Good night.
Good night, Tank, and well done tonight, mate. Well done.
Thank you. And it's a good night to Shads.
I'm knackered, lads. Good night.
And it's a good night from me, and it's good to be back, and we shall see you all next week for episode 88 of the All Fall Back podcast. Until then, good night.